Hi everyone, my name is Joe and I'll be teaching you guys how to use Excel today. So the lesson that I'm giving you guys today is actually probably the most important thing that I've learned since I picked up Excel. This has helped me countless times. So to sum it up, basically this is what it is. Uh, First I'll present the problem, then I'll present the solution. The problem is when you get information exported from wherever and it's in this particular format. So the format is that it's listed by the date. So you have each row. In this particular case, it's the person's name, age, location. This is the quantity of units sold, and this is the date of the purchase. So a simple output would be the number of sales per month. It seems extremely simple. You have on the x-axis each month, and on the y-axis you have the number of units sold or the number of transactions. Well, the issue with Excel is that if you try to just create a graph, you're going to get something like this. And the reason for this is because Excel does not bin the information. It does not take the information and sum it up based on certain values. And those values would be the first of the month to the last of the month for each particular month. So we have to do that manually. And the way that you can do this, it actually works for a lot of other things. So it's a really good general skill to know. Another layer of complexity, just to point it out, is the fact that there's a quantity associated with this. So this transaction, for instance, Frank is 32 years old from Hawaii. Well, he purchased 3 of this item on this date. So when you want to take this information, you have to take it and summarize it up or it doesn't mean anything. So let me show you a table from scratch. So the way that you want to do this is you want to start, typically what I'll do is I'll go to data and I'll go to filter. And this right here will tell me what range am I looking at of data. So I'm looking at from January of 2011 to December of 2012. That's how big my data is right now. That's the extent of this. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take this and we'll just write another thing, month of purchase. So right here you just type 1/1/11, January 1st, 2011. Well, you want to grab right down here at the bottom right and hold it down and drag down. So it just drags and just repeats the cell basically and brings it up by 1 day. Well, we don't want it to go up by 1 day. We want it to go up by the months. So we click right here and we go to fill months and click it. So what we want it to go up to is we want it to go up to 1 month past the last month of our data. So that would be January of 2013, since our data ends at December of 2012. And I'll explain the reason for this once we start doing it. So we're going to be looking at 2 things right now. We're going to be looking for the number of units sold, and we're going to be looking up the number of transactions. So the number of units sold is going to be based on this quantity, because each transaction can have numerous units sold. So the way that we do this is we want to run a sum statement. So we have sum, but this is going to be a little different. We're going to do a sum ifs. So just type in sum ifs, and it's summing it up based on conditions, which if you have any questions about that, just shoot me a message and I'll explain, or I'll probably create another video. So what we want to do is the first thing we're looking at is the sum range. These are the values that we're going to be adding. So they're going to be numerical values basically, and it's going to be whatever you want the sum of basically. So column D is the quantity. So for the number of units sold, we're going to want the quantity. So then we put a comma here, and the criteria range. So the criteria range, basically what that's saying is we're going to be looking in this area for a specific criteria. So right here, we're going to click on column E. So we're going to look in column E for a certain date range. So the way that we're going to type this in, so what we want is we want to look in this date range. So it's going to look in this date range right here, and we want it to look for anything between the 1st of January 2011 and the 1st of February in 2011. So everything within January of 2011 we want in here. And what we want it to do is we want it to say, okay, if it sees anything in January of 2011, we want it to add up all of the quantities that meet that criteria. So the way that we do this is we put quotations, double quotes, the greater than or equal to sign. So we put the greater than sign and then equal. And the quotes, and then we're going to put in the and symbol, the ampersand symbol. And then what we do is we click right there for January 1st, 2011. So that's going to tell us greater than or equal to that date. We don't want to type in the date. We want to click to the cell, and I'll show you why in a second. So the next thing we want to do is we want to make sure that it's looking for everything less than this date. So what we do is we type in, we put the comma right here to end this section right here, and we type in, okay, this thing gets in the way sometimes, it's annoying, column E. So column E, another comma, double quotes, the less than sign, and the quote, the and symbol, and then we click on the second month. So now what we do is we just hit enter, and so it clicks and it runs its sum statement, and we see that there's 11 units sold during the month of January 2011. So what we do is you want to just highlight this cell and copy, Control C, I usually go over to the left one, you hold down Control and then press down, and that'll bring you to the bottom of the row or the column. Just move on over here, and then you want to hold Control, Shift, and up, and that'll highlight everything. And then what you do is you just hit Control V, and that pastes the values. So now you have the values for everything. Well, because of the fact that this is looking for, and I can show you, because of the fact that this is looking for greater than this month, greater than or equal to this month, and less than this month, well, there's no month here. So what we're going to want to do is we're just going to want to delete this cell. So we delete this cell right here, and I'm just going to show you guys the beautiful thing that you guys just did. can look at it like this, and we have beautiful line graph, or you can look at it like this. You have a bar graph. Let's leave it at a bar graph for now. One thing that you're going to want to do, because it looks a little weird having the having it listed out by 1/1/2011 and all that, you're going to want to take this, highlight the column, and then you're going to want to go to Format Cells. So, sorry, you right-click it, go to Format Cells, go to Date, and I typically like to see it like this, where it says Mar-12, the month and then the year. So, boom, you have it like that. One other thing you can do is you can click on the bar, go to Add Data Labels, and then it'll show you all of the actual values on the graph. Another thing you can do, so this right here was the Sumif statement. So the number of transactions, what if we just want to know how many times did someone buy something? We don't want to know how many were sold. We want to know how many times did someone go onto our site and purchase something? Well, that's a little bit different. So what we do is we go to equals Countifs. So Countifs will count the number of times, whenever we set up the criteria, it counts the number of times that we meet that criteria. So what it counts is the number of rows that criteria is met. And this is where you really have to be careful, because sometimes your data will come out and there's going to be repeated rows. And so you'll have certain rows that might be, it's the same thing, but it's duplicated. And I'll tell you guys in a couple minutes how to get rid of those duplicate values, but just keep in mind, really look out for any duplicate values, because this will mess up your counts and it'll throw you in the wrong direction. So this is the way that you do the Countif statement. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you look in the criteria range. So the criteria range is going to be the dates. So every single one of these dates represents a different date of purchase. So there was a transaction at this date, regardless of how many quantity there were at that transaction. This right here is the date of purchase. So what you want to make sure, or what you want to do, is you say, okay, well, we're going to look in that column, but we're going to look for, sorry, someone called me, greater than or equal to, and January 2011. So anytime that this is greater than or equal to January 2011. So let's end it here just to show you how many total there are. So we don't want all 50. So what we're going to do is we want to know how many are just during the month of January. So how we do that is the same as before. We click right here on column E, and then we go less than, ampersand, February. Boom. There were 2 transactions that month. So same as before. In case you guys didn't catch it the first time, Control C right here, Control down goes to the bottom, move over to the right one, Control Shift up. This time you press down right there once, just so you don't copy over the title, and then Control V. And so now you have another column of information. Well, what if you want to add that column to your graph? Well, the way that you do that is you're going to right click your graph, and then you're going to click select data. And so what you do is you go to right over here is add. Well, your series name, and this is why it's really good practice to name your column whatever you want it to be in your graph. So what you'll do is you just click on the top number of transactions, and so for series values, you're just going to click right there, and that way you're getting, oh, sorry, there's like people beeping horns and just going nuts right now in my parking complex. It is absurd, hard to pay attention, but I'm trying for you guys. So here's what we do. So we have all this information right here. Well, to be honest, it looks kind of stupid that this graph right here just stomps out this information. So one thing that I really like to do is right click right here, and I'm going to click Format Data Series. And then what you click is you click Secondary Axis. And so now you have a secondary axis which shows you right here, it'll show you your number of transactions. So it also looks kind of dumb that they're sitting on top of each other. You can't really see the other graph at all. So you right click on your data and you go to change series chart type. And what you do is right here, number of transactions, you change that to a line graph. So now you change that to a line graph, and now that looks pretty good. But I know it's a little bit different when you do it on Microsoft Excel, you know, one of the last ones, 2010 or 2007 or 2003 or whatever you guys use. But roughly, you know, if you right click, it's still going to be there. The change series chart type, it'll be there in the previous versions. I'm not sure all the way back 2003, but it should be there 2007. Definitely there 2010. So yeah, and then if you want to add any other information, you know, you can just go up here. There's the design. Where is it? Actually, no, it's in format. You know what? I'm lost. I just got this the other day. Quick layout. Yeah, I'm used to the other Excel. But we'll leave it at this little nice one. And then just to close out, sorry that I've been sidetracked. I've just been getting just blown up on my phone and everything. But alright, so if you guys want to know about the remove duplicates, you hit Control right here. And what you do is, so you highlight all the cells like that, Control C, Control V, and you click remove duplicates. What happens when you click remove duplicates is it's going to remove all of the duplicate rows that there's the same information. So right now you'll see shouldn't be any duplicates. Yeah, there's no duplicate values found. But let's say that I'm just going to take this right here and I'm going to copy the exact same one. Well, that's a mistake, and that's going to throw off the values in my chart. So what I do is I hit remove duplicates, and it removes that one. It detects it for me. Well, what if I just want to find out, let's just get rid of these other columns, and let's say, what if I want to find out how many different people, you know, how many different people do I have purchasing things from me? Well, we highlight these three columns and we click remove duplicates. So now you can see, okay, well, these are all of my customers. I have 14 different customers. Another thing, if you highlight over all of them in a column, down at the bottom right, it'll show you a count statement. Or if you're highlighting over numbers, it'll actually show you the average and the sum as well as the count. So there's 14 people that are my customers. Um, the average age of my customer is about 40 years old. And then we have all of these different locations from where they are. Um, yeah, that pretty much sums it up. One other last little point is if you have people's names right here, one reason that you want to include other information such as the age and the location is because of the fact that right here it would seem that there's only 13 different people, but that's because Frank comes up twice. He comes up as age 32 and age 55, so there's two people that are named Frank. So that's another thing you want to look out for. If you guys have any questions or comments or anything like that, I'll be making other videos, but if you have any question about anything in particular, I can make a video specific to that issue. You know, I don't have very many users right now, so it's or very many subscribers right now, so it's pretty easy for me to keep track of all the requests. So thank you very much, and I hope you guys enjoy Excel. It's a great program. And if you guys like the video, please shoot me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thank you very much.